Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands, good fathers like mine. We need that. And young women, we need you to also rise up. Don't compromise yourself. Don't look at other women and compare yourself. God has created you for a purpose and a reason far greater than you and I will ever know on this side of heaven. But just know that as long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, you have us by your side.
Some people just don't know when to stop, and if you listen to many of Erika Kirk's critics, they believe she fits that description perfectly. After losing her husband at just 37 years old while raising 2 children on her own, many expected the public to rally behind her. Instead, she has faced heavy skepticism, with many people questioning her public appearances and wondering whether every move comes with a bigger goal. To her critics, it all feels calculated rather than genuine.
My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. When I got home last night, Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, "Mommy, I missed you." I said, "I missed you too, baby." She goes, "Where's Daddy?" "What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, "Baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget."
Rather than stepping away as the criticism continued, Erika has stayed in the spotlight, appearing on every stage, willing to welcome her and working to establish herself as a leading voice connected to her late husband's legacy. Supporters see determination, while critics argue she's trying to become the new face of the movement he helped build. And even though things never seem to be going especially well from the start, the situation has only become more intense with time.
The podcaster Candace Owens, at one time a friend of Charlie's, at one time an employee of Turning Point, she has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Every public appearance, interview, and statement has been picked apart, and the non-stop attention has led many viewers to speculate that the constant scrutiny is starting to affect Erika. In some of her most recent media appearances, critics have claimed she appeared unusually emotional or unsettled, sparking even more discussion across social media. Instead of quieting the conversation, nearly everything the former Miss Arizona has done has raised even more questions from her critics about what she knows, what her intentions are, and where she truly stands. That's why so many people have been closely following each new development.
It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general? Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together, and to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor. How could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people?
The next chapter for Turning Point USA began almost immediately after Charlie Kirk's assassination in Provo, Utah. Just 2 days after her husband was killed, Erika released a public statement on his channel. Then, just 11 days after the shooting, a New York Times report added another layer to the story. According to the article, Erika was sitting in her mother's hospital room in Phoenix when she received a call from her husband's longtime assistant, Michael McCoy. Looking back on that moment, Erika said she already knew what he was about to tell her before he even spoke the words. As Charlie Kirk's supporters mourned alongside his family and the many people who had followed his work for years, many initially stood behind Erika. Some were even encouraged by reports that Charlie believed she held views that were just as strong, if not even more hardline, than his own.
There you go.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet. I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never liked Zoom. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys as much as it is for our family. You guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also, that you loved. You loved listening to his show, hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
had private conversations with him. I want you all to hold on to those.
8 days after Charlie Kirk's passing, it was announced that Erika would succeed him as director of Turning Point USA, following a unanimous vote. From that point on, the organization and its new leadership found themselves facing constant public attention and growing controversy. From viral discussions about a moment with J.D. Vance, to her public comments about forgiving her husband's killer, to debates over how she described Charlie's views on Israel, Erika's first months in the spotlight became one controversy after another. As I covered at the time, many supporters who had once admired her grew increasingly critical, while others continued to defend her. In the weeks and months that followed, nearly every public statement she made sparked fresh debate, leading critics to argue that both her public image and the organization's reputation were taking more hits with each new appearance.
And I was eating cereal. It was like 10 o'clock at night. That's a mom dinner cereal at 10 p.m. And I was like basically standing there in the dark. And I looked over to the side of the wall. And when we first moved into that, we live in a small condo. When we first moved in there, Charlie and I put the Bible verse of James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4 alongside of it. And I stood there and I looked at it, and I was like, milk and cereal in my mouth. And I was like, count it all joy. And I just stood there. Count it all joy. Being persecuted and lied about, count it all joy. You're being slandered, count it all joy. You're being lied about, count it all joy. Your church is being persecuted, count it all joy. If there's graffiti all over it now, count it all joy. You have people coming in and out of your congregation, count it all joy.
After commentator Candace Owens criticized Erika's handling of information surrounding the murder, Erika responded by addressing her late husband's friend during later interviews, adding another chapter to an already heated public dispute. And in a move that only sparked even more online speculation, Erika also spoke publicly in support of Israel while continuing to strongly condemn her husband's killer. Those statements quickly became another major topic of debate among critics and supporters alike. With every new public statement, skepticism continued to grow among many of Erika's critics, who questioned her messaging and wondered why others accepted her explanations so easily. Some critics even described the situation as, it's not a theater anymore, it's a low-budget circus, the last stages of grief PR tour.
She's had a wild life, this woman. She was in Romania, she had an orphanage, she was on a reality show, she married this famous guy, she was an intelligence asset. And I said to her, how do you do this? And she says, Tim, it's Neuro's energy and focus mints. And I says, but how do you do it after the guy, the husband and father of the kids gets murdered and you're out there doing all kinds of stuff? You're doing fundraisers and you're dancing around with glitter pants. How does this happen? She goes, I could lie to you, but I'm telling you, it's Neuro's energy and focus mints. I said, really? She goes, sure. I said, how are you running this organization 7 hours after this guy got popped?
As each new development unfolded, those critics argued that their doubts were only becoming stronger. One moment that drew particular attention was Erika's appearance on a Turning Point USA Zoom call just 5 days after Charlie's death, with some viewers questioning what they saw as her composed and seemingly unfazed demeanor. After that footage surfaced, the criticism grew even louder.
That we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made. And when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action. Take action.
Well, there are 18 critical infrastructures. It's weird, but very weird.
She's doing a CIA informational video.
Weird. An acting gig, or is this something else?
Perhaps. Or, but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
You ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that one.
Yeah. It's odd. Well, there's a lot of people that think that she was his handler. She was Charlie Kirk's handler. But of course, there's a lot of people that think I have handlers.
Yeah. Well, you got about 9 Navy SEALs out there.
They're not they're my friends.
Many online critics said the appearance reinforced their doubts, arguing that her public image felt overly polished and carefully managed rather than completely authentic. Some critics even pointed to moments where they felt Erika kept looking back at prepared notes, arguing that it made the story feel rehearsed instead of natural. Comments like, "She has to keep looking at her script," quickly spread online, with skeptics claiming the emotional moments came across as carefully presented rather than spontaneous. If the goal was to make her seem more relatable, many critics believe it had the opposite effect. Instead of receiving broad support from conservatives, several well-known conservative commentators became some of her toughest critics, turning her public appearances into a frequent target of discussion and satire. Elsewhere, shows like The Joe Rogan Experience and other online platforms have also examined Erika's background in detail.
He is the Executive Director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and Director of the U.S. Nuclear Strategy Forum, both congressional advisory boards.
I touch a little bit of topics on the grid vulnerability that we have here in our country, and just basically tell the audience what exactly EMP is and what are the threats that we need to be aware of as Americans, and what our major security issue here in America is right now.
Well, an electromagnetic pulse can be generated by a nuclear weapon detonated at high altitude. And we have seen Iran write in its military doctrine, this is basically why they want the bomb. We've also seen them practice launching missiles from short-range missiles from ships to simulate an EMP attack.
Some commentators have pointed to claims about alleged connections to intelligence agencies that they say predate her relationship with Charlie, though those claims remain disputed and have fueled ongoing debate. On top of that, public discussions about her mother's documented work with network security companies have added another layer to the conversation. Critics and online theorists have pointed to those details as supporting their own interpretations, even though such speculation has not been established as fact. When commentators like Tim Dillon weren't making jokes about her, Erika also found herself being mocked by Drowski.
Turns out Erika Kirk's mother has been a CIA spy, or a spy, for a long time. Now, you know, she had like 50 different LLC companies that she creates and closes and all. And so Wolves in Finance have done a great job with that. And now Project Constitution says Lori Friends appears in Edward Snowden's leaked PRISM docs as NSA agent. For those of us tracking the new TPUSA narrative, this isn't just a coinkydink. It's a confirmation of the intelligent asset theory. The coincidence officially dies. They are running a script. If Lori is a confirmed intelligence asset, her daughter's entire life story suddenly looks like a meticulously managed operation, which it was.
In one of the Georgia comedian's most watched comedy pieces, he wore heavy makeup while performing a character that many viewers interpreted as a parody of Erika and what critics describe as her carefully crafted public image. While many people outside conservative circles reacted with jokes and memes, Erika reportedly received encouragement from the president to consider taking legal action.
Get on your feet, boy!
A thing called Happy Easter. Do we have that? Everyone happy? Anybody that doesn't want, hello, darling. Wow, this is a good table. I like that table. You're doing well, right? Okay. I think you should sue him, but you know, I told her, you ought to sue somebody. They're so jealous of Erika. I said, you ought to sue their, I can say it, you're not allowed to say this, you have to be nicer. Sue their ass off.
That response added yet another twist to an already widely discussed controversy. As similar views were voiced by figures such as Ted Cruz, not everyone in conservative media agreed with that approach. Commentators like Baron Coleman argued that Erika's personal loss should not place her beyond public criticism, especially when they believed parts of her public statements and actions raised unanswered questions.
Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in any religious tradition does it say, if you're a widow, you get a free pass to lie to anyone you want, to gaslight everybody you meet, for everything you've ever done in your entire life that is dog doo-doo. You just get overlooked. No one's allowed to bring it up. No one's allowed to talk about it. For the rest of your life, everyone has to fawn all over you and support you because, my God, you're a widow. It doesn't exist. I've looked at scripture. It's not in there. Erika, Graham, Gary, not in here. Andrew doesn't say it. There's no requirement. I support her as the head of TPUSA. There's no prohibition on me criticizing her for documented falsehoods. None.
Even though many of her public appearances drew criticism, Erika showed no signs of stepping away or suggesting that some of her decisions after Charlie's death may have hurt the organization's public image. Instead, she continued moving forward despite the backlash and growing debate surrounding her leadership. Rather than keeping a lower profile, Erika continued speaking at events and appearing on major stages with a highly energetic, headline-style presence that kept her at the center of public attention.
You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. That is such a myth. Gigi gets those little Montessori toys every month, and there's this one that has the buckets that balance. If I put something in one of those buckets, it's gonna drop down. And if I try to balance them, both buckets are filled, which is not realistic. I can't spend half of the day doing one thing. I missed out half of that time with being with the kids. So like, you have to choose where your heart has to be fully with the home.
But just as her story in the public eye began with a shocking act of violence, many critics believe the next major chapter started with another dramatic incident. According to that narrative, it marked a turning point in how people viewed her public appearances and the pressure surrounding them. More recently, Erika attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and depending on who you ask, the evening either went badly or unfolded much as expected. Following reports of a security-related incident and the intense online discussion that followed, one of the biggest topics on social media was footage that many claimed showed Erika leaving the event in tears. For many public figures, an emotional moment like that might generate sympathy.
First and foremost, I woke up this morning and I was highly upset. I had a little bit of a yesterday news hangover. I realized that I'm actually so not okay with what Erika Kirk did. She essentially put a target on my back by wrongly asserting that I accused her of murdering her husband. I don't think we can let that fly, right? No, her punishment is going to be more truth, I always say she is sentenced to more truth, and I have been keeping a little secret, and it's time for me to reveal it. Also, I am getting the sense that there is something happening, something big happening. It feels like people are upping the crazy a little bit. Something is coming undone in the background. And on that note, the big news of the day is guess who crawled from under his rock, apparently, and sent me a full-blown lawsuit. Yes, Brian Harpole. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that would grant me, your girl, the power of subpoena. Let's get started. Welcome back to Candace.
In Erika's case, however, many online critics responded with jokes and memes instead. Some commentators even speculated that the experience may have convinced her to step away from public life, though there has been no confirmation that she intends to do so. From there, Erika tried to explain why she had attended the event in the first place. According to her own account, one of her reasons for being there was to address lingering conflicts and settle a few outstanding disagreements, a statement that quickly sparked even more discussion online. Predictably, her explanation did little to quiet the criticism. Instead, it sparked another wave of reactions, and some people who had previously stayed on the sidelines began arguing that her public approach needed to change if she hoped to rebuild trust.
So that she can stop making videos like this that age badly instantly.
I call BS on her reason for going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Girl, just be real. Just be real with everyone. I went because I was invited and I wanted to go. You didn't go to like, oh, I'm going to hold reporters accountable. You just wanted to go. You wanted to go and you did, and that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So like that, it's that kind of stuff that makes people think her behavior is more performative than anything. Just be real. People want authenticity. You wanted to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You were invited as a guest of Fox News. That's fine. Because people were making fun of her sparkly outfits following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Just be you. And more importantly, videos like this don't help. They just don't.
One widely shared comment read, "If Erika Kirk truly is just a grieving widow and not actually a bad person, which is now becoming harder and harder to believe, then somebody around her who cares needs to tell her the following. Her disposition is totally unlikable. Her delivery is completely untrustworthy. Every time she opens her mouth, she digs herself into a bigger hole."
Yes, I am grieving. Yes, alongside our great team running Turning Point USA. Yes, I'm raising my babies. And you don't separate those into different boxes. They can all coexist. And so, yeah, I take my babies to the office. I want my kids to see what their father built. I want them to be a part of it. Maybe it's supposed to be something that inspires them and encourages them to think, okay, we live in the greatest country where you can be so many different things. You can be a mother. You can be an author. You can be a nurse. You can be a teacher in one full lifetime. You don't have to just be one thing. And honestly, being a mother is one of the greatest honors and privileges and job titles you could ever have.
I would rather not tell a widow how to grieve, but I would advise a wannabe astroturfed CEO to go home and spend more time with her kids she claims to love. Meanwhile, her critics argued that she appeared more focused on ongoing public disputes than on the tragedy that had taken place. Those reactions quickly spread across social media, giving opponents another opportunity to sharply criticize her and keep the controversy in the spotlight.
No, I'm not accusing you of shooting your husband. What I am assuming that I have been open about on the show is that it reeks of dishonesty. People told you this. There's something about your general nature that comes across as very dishonest. You don't seem to be interested in the very many holes. I wouldn't be able to stomach sitting or standing next to Kash Patel, and yet you do. You're sitting here at a White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why don't you ask him to give the defense what they need if you want a speedy trial, victim? You lying about the surgeon and beginning the entire story about a Superman neck, but actually you were on the phone, but you lied to my face and you're pretending that I have to take that because you're a widow? That doesn't work for us.
Some critics even argued that Erika appeared more upset about the backlash and public mockery than the tragedy itself. Comments like, Erika being more concerned about getting mocked than her husband's death tells the story in itself, spread widely online, reflecting how harsh the criticism had become. As many expected, one of the first people to respond publicly was Candace Owens.
Cry emoji. And again, the context of this was us making fun of Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro and the syndicate of people that had come out and said that asking any questions about Erika Kirk at all was akin to just saying exactly that you murdered your own husband. This was never released to the public. It's a private conversation. So to pretend that that is what Erika was responding to today, how disingenuous can you be, Andrew? You have to get tired of it at some point. You just got to get tired of it. Again, I will assert publicly, you have my full permission. Go Max, release the entire chain. I have nothing to hide. When I said and I asserted several times, there is not a single thing that he can point to that I said on this show that was leaked to me by Aubrey Leitch, like from December 15th, okay? Post getting fired, obviously she spoke out and I've had many conversations with her, but nothing was leaked to me about that I presented on this show about anything that was going on internal. So pretending that this joke that went around of I'm the first thing I'm gonna ask her is why did you murder your husband? Like, why are you gay? Is a little over the top. Release it all. Let the public judge. I have nothing to hide.
After Erika claimed that Candace had promoted the idea that she was responsible for Charlie's death, a characterization Owens disputes, Owens responded with a lengthy critique that lasted more than 20 minutes, forcefully challenging Erika's claims and public statements. One of Candace Owens' main criticisms was that Erika was, in her view, trying to shift the focus of the controversy and cast Candace as the villain. Owens strongly rejected that characterization, arguing that her own comments had been misrepresented and defending her role in the dispute.
Sentence, she said, I after today's traumatizing shooting, I need to spend time with my family, and then I will be on the Charlie Kirk show on Wednesday. So I think she just needed 48 hours. We get to that. The response has just been brutal, okay? Everyone is calling her out. They're saying that the look is wrong. People are making fun of saying that she looks like she came dressed up as the assassin that was walking up the stairs, allegedly, but also just her general demeanor. Okay, here are just some of the reactions. We can go through them. I guess I missed it. When did Candace Owens mention anywhere in the podcast that you murdered your husband? You didn't miss it. I trust gas station sushi more than I trust Erika Kirk. This user writes, I was hoping you were going to address all the questions being asked of you. This lecture was pointless. We're just getting lectured every day. We're so tired of being lectured. This person writes, Candace Owens never once made the explicit claim that you murdered your husband.
Above all, Candace Owens made it clear that she was not apologizing for raising questions about the gap she believes exists between Erika's public image and what may be happening behind the scenes. She argued that those concerns were, in her view, worth discussing openly. Candace also repeated a point that Baron Coleman had previously made on her show. In their view, questions about Erika's reported establishment connections and what they described as inconsistencies in her public statements meant that public scrutiny was justified, regardless of the personal tragedy she had experienced.
I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
And I get on camera and I show everybody how batshit crazy I am. And the evidence goes on and on and on and on. And I will not stop, because just Monday I said I was taking time off to be with my family. And now it's Thursday and I am hosting a podcast clip, because in Turning Point, you can both take time off from work and work at the exact same time. And this hypocrisy can go on and on and on and on.
Not everyone is focused on offering suggestions about how Erika could improve her public image or respond to the criticism more effectively. Instead, many critics have been revisiting her time with Charlie, comparing older statements with her more recent comments, and arguing that they see inconsistencies in her public narrative.
Please welcome Turning Point USA CEO and Chair, Erika Kirk.
To some of Erika's harshest critics, these disagreements go far beyond individual interviews or public appearances. They argue that her recent actions reveal parts of her personality they believe had been hidden from public view, although those claims remain matters of opinion rather than established fact. One widely shared comment stated,
"In this culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment." And here's what I've realized through all of this, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all. Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country.
I felt sorry for him. I felt like he was being love-bombed, manipulated, and gaslighted so much by Erika and others that he probably thought he found his soulmate, but I believe he was seeing the truth.
Everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me, and I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me, she introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful, I'm so sorry for your loss," to which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face."
Relationships with narcissists are complicated. She said I missed half the day being with the kids instead of saying she missed spending time with the kids because she had to work all day. Her heart was to never be a mom. She liked being the boss.
Evil. She is evil. When I watched that, I went, she's evil. I am so infuriated watching that back because she's lying. She's objectively lying and she's acting. She was told to say that to make people believe that she had access to something that we didn't.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all.
Right? It was because of that clip that when I went in to meet with her, I was going, oh, okay, maybe she has something that the public doesn't. I spoke to people, I've been in touch with the lawyers, I've seen the autopsy report, and then I sit down with her 72 hours later, and she tells me, and her lawyer confirms to me, that they have nothing more than what the public has seen.
Charlie stole her shine. She got left at home with the kids, and when he was around, he put the kids first. She wanted the stage back. A pageant girl needs to perform. She needed the spotlight for validation. As criticism continued to build from multiple directions, the dispute appeared to grow even more complicated. Attention then shifted to a new legal battle, with reports that Charlie Kirk's former head of security had filed a lawsuit against Candace Owens, adding another major twist to the ongoing conflict.
But I thought that I was going to get straight answers, and then she lied to my face. And from that point on, when I clocked her on those lies, and when the public kept repeatedly clocking her on lies, and seeing your reaction to it like it is right now, I grew increasingly suspicious of Erika. I remain suspicious of Erika. I think that is any person who is being honest. Why don't you respond to what I'm actually saying? I am saying that donors are telling us that that was an AI video or an AI audio that you presented of Charlie Kirk? Wouldn't that be a great time to clear that up? If you're going to sit there and you're going to point the finger at Candace Owens, I would have said, and it is egregious that Candace Owens is implying that we would make this up, that Charlie didn't want me to take over. And then you slam dunk, show the video of Charlie Kirk saying in Aspen that he wanted you to be the CEO. I have made a lot of claims about you lying, and I stand by the claims that I have made on this show.
And given how public this dispute has already become, many commentators believe that if new information emerges through the legal process, Candace Owens will almost certainly discuss it publicly sooner rather than later. Whether that happens remains to be seen, but expectations are already building. With the organization facing ongoing scrutiny and Erika's public reputation under constant debate, many critics argue that her image has changed dramatically from the time when she was primarily known as Charlie Kirk's wife. After months of intense attention, supporters and critics alike have commented on the visible pressure surrounding her public appearances. At this stage, many observers believe that stepping away from the spotlight, at least for a while, could benefit her, her family, the organization, and Charlie's legacy.
I mean, how much more can this poor woman take?
She is absolutely committed to, and I don't want to put words in Erika's mouth. I think she's probably going to kind of clarify what this event has meant to her, at some point this week, and kind of where her head's at. So I don't want to speak for her, but, actually she's completely committed and devoted to, fulfilling Charlie's legacy and mission, and none of that has changed. Obviously this was, this was a triggering experience in more ways than one. And it wasn't just her as well. There was Mikey was at the event, and Mikey was just a few feet away from Charlie at UVU.
Otherwise, critics argue the controversy is likely to continue rather than fade away.